I don't even know what hip dips are. So whenever you go to Google and type in hip dip, the first thing that comes up is hip dip surgery, hip dip exercise, and hip dip plank. So I'm guessing this is something you don't want? How have I not known about this? This is a generation of being super self-conscious, so like, why not add another thing to the list? Hip dips are inward curves on each side, just below the hip bone. Some people have them more prominent and noticeable, and others don't have them. They're also known as hip dips, violin hips, high hips, shelf hips, and figure 8 spoon body shape. Right where the bottom of her bikini is, it kind of like goes straight, if not in a little bit. And I think that's because like where the bone is, and it kind of happens if you're a little bit skinnier maybe. So then here's this and someone else obviously was thinking about them. It says dip, me, no dip, not me. Also unrealistic. So I'm guessing a lot of people have this but don't really talk about it, and maybe people Photoshop it. I don't know why it's not bring to the attention of people beforehand. So what I'm seeing in here is mostly really skinny girls having the little dip on the hip. Okay, so like depending on the way your bones are shaped and your hips, it really does look like you really like it should go like that. Like I don't understand why we have this figure of boobs, waist, hips, and butt where it's just this huge hourglass figure. Whenever in this society, if you're gonna try and get that and look like the other people, you're gonna have to end up getting surgery and waist trainers are gonna end up ruining your stomach. So if you ask me, hip dips are just another thing for teenage girls and guys to feel self-conscious about. Yes, sure, your health should matter, your appearance should matter, your figure should matter, but not to the point where we're actually mutilating ourselves and starving ourselves and doing all of this crazy stuff just to look like the people on Instagram who are photoshopped way out of this world. We do way too much comparing nowadays. We compare everything, and now even our hips to people. I didn't even know this was a thing. Honestly, if you're comparing yourself too much to people, you should do what I did for a while and just go offline. Don't stop comparing yourself to people. I mean, even me now, I look at YouTubers like Shannon and Alex and Sarah, all of those huge female YouTubers that look a lot like I do, and how they're so much more successful, so much career than I am. Like, I'm never gonna be a famous YouTuber. I mean, that's just how it goes. I never came into this expecting that I was gonna be rich and that I was gonna be the best. I came into it thinking, hey, this could be fun. So what I'm trying to say is you don't compare yourself to people. If they have hip dips and you don't have hip dips, cool. It doesn't really matter. If you don't like your hip dips, don't look at them. Whether you have very apparent hip dips, no hip dips at all, big hips, little hips, round hips, straight hips, they're hips. You know what they do? They sit, they stand, they turn, they rotate. They all do the same thing! And it shouldn't really matter what your hips look like. You shouldn't look into this as much as people do. Either way your hip looks, it's how they look. You can't change it, might as well love them. Go have some fun with them hips. Peace out, pandas.